All right, good evening. Our sign language interpreter is Yula Nzale. We begin with the top story tonight, where Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Mlongo has assured that in the next 2 months, public health facilities across the country will receive essential medical commodities. Mlongo's assurance comes at a time patients have complained of wanting quality of care under the new Social Health Authority funded services. Patients have told of the struggle to access prescription drugs, having to pay out of pocket at private drug stores. Brenda Wanga reports.
Keeping up with the treatment and management of Samuel Rono's renal condition is taking a toll on his family. The old man needs at least 2 dialysis sessions weekly, but the cost of meeting this is increasingly becoming hard since the switchover from NHIF to SHA.
Tulipelekwa kwa casualty. Uko casualty tunaambiwa hakuna kitu itaendelea mpaka tulipe 8,600 shillings ndio tuanze usiwe hata nini usaidizi. Na mgonjwa wakati huo alikuwa mgonjwa sana.
This family says aside from the cost of the dialysis, they are also grappling with the cost of buying additional medication for their kin. They aren't the only ones facing this challenge. In Nakuru, Anne Wambugu, a cancer patient, is one of many patients who say they have to pay for their medication at the health facilities.
Na sasa nikaambiwa ni lazima ninunue dawa ya 450 ili niwekwe chemotherapy. Tunaambiwa tulipiwa hata tunasidwa, kwani tunalipia na tayari tumeshalipa hii kadi ya NHIF. Sasa hii mambo ingine imeingia ya SHA. Hiyo nayo kuwa confused sana nayo.
This challenge has proven to be a windfall for the neighboring chemist. 2 weeks ago, Kipchumba, a chemist, admitted to doing booming business with the health facilities patients.
Tunapata wengi sana. Kuanzia tu asubuhi mpaka jioni tunapata wengi hata siwezi hesabu. Wanalalamika wakisema wanalipa NHIF na wapewi dawa. Inabidi kuja wanunue dawa huko nje juu wasipate.
A situation that the Ministry of Health says it is seized of. Health CS Deborah Barasa maintains that this is continuously being addressed.
Well, yes, we are addressing the medication component. As I've said, we are mapping out and we are looking to ensure that medicines are provided in the last mile under the PHC funds.
That reassurance notwithstanding, health practitioners are also challenging the ministry to review the UHC programs to reduce the out-of-pocket expenditures for the clients.
Out-of-pocket expenditure is actually increasing. So there's no way you can envision universal health care in such a setup. But what will be seen is that many Kenyans will be able to access care. Many Kenyans will remain stranded, and that's a reality.
In the meantime, the ministry is now asking the community health practitioners to take the lead in enhancing registration into SHA in order to help people like Rono get into the system and ease access of health care.
We are available more so in the villages, more so at the bottom of the pyramid. If you see a CHP walking around, just ask them a question on how to register to the Social Health Authority.
So far, over 13 million households have been registered into SHA. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Staying with that story, more than a month into the rollout of healthcare services under the Social Health Authority, it is emerging that patients suffering from non-communicable diseases could be worst affected by the implementation challenges. Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance of Kenya has sounded the alarm of a loss of lives and intensified suffering among patients who have complained of service interruption. The Alliance reports that patients have been unable to access life-saving treatment and disease management, calling for reverting to the NHIF services until the systemic inefficiencies of the Social Health Authority are fixed. Mary Mwoki has more.
The transition to the new Social Health Insurance Fund continues to be met with widespread discontent among patients and stakeholders in the health sector over the confusion and systemic inefficiencies that continue to plague it a month since its rollout. The Non-Communicable Disease Alliance says patients with chronic diseases requiring urgent and timely treatment and management such as chemotherapy, dialysis, sickle cell treatment, diabetes management and others have had access to those services curtailed by technical and logistical challenges witnessed in the rollout of the new health system.
Any interruption in treatment and care, as we have seen since SHA was rolled out, is likely to have a deleterious effect on the patients and the individuals living with different non-communicable diseases. Cancer is not waiting for us to sort out SHIF.
The Alliance says there are patients with non-communicable diseases who account for 41% of all deaths in the country, and more than 50% of all hospital admissions continue to be denied treatment in most facilities or are forced to make cash payments. A survey conducted by the Alliance highlighted systemic issues that have left many NCD patients struggling to access timely, affordable care.
Public hospitals such as Kenyatta National Hospital and Kenyatta University Referral Hospital reported frequent systemic delays that left patients waiting for hours, restricted shift coverage to civil servants in specific job groups, leaving most NCD patients ineligible. Cancer patients, transplant recipients, and other high-risk groups are especially affected by these limitations in coverage, leading to an increased reliance on out-of-pocket payments.
The Alliance has called on the government to urgently reinstate the overseas benefits package, arguing that most of the patients battling non-communicable diseases require specialized services that can only be provided outside the country.
So the baby is detained at a hospital in India called Fortis Memorial Hospital. They are saying that the 500,000 that the NHIF issued as a GOP, guarantee of payment, must be honored before they release the baby back home. Right now, last week actually, we lost a baby who was supposed to go to India for these open heart surgeries. The patient's documents are stuck at NHIF.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners Pharmacist Dentist Union has urged the government to rethink the rollout and handle staffing shortages within hospitals, which they term is a key driver of the project's success.
Because the level 2, 3, 4, and 5 within the counties are dysfunctional. These hospitals have no doctors, these hospitals have no equipment, these hospitals have no drugs. So yes, you are referred to your deathbed, you don't refer to get the care. So we keep saying, without looking into the human resource aspect of healthcare, it is impossible to have the social health authority rolled out as expected. It's going to have more challenges than before.
Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
To matters education, 10 people have been arrested over allegations of engaging in examination malpractices in the ongoing Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination, that is KCSE, that is across the country. 8 teachers from Homa Bay County were arrested after they were found photocopying a paper contrary to set regulations governing national examinations, while 2 other suspects from Nairobi and Kilifi counties were arrested for impersonation. Rotiano reports that there were reports of death during this year's exams. One candidate from Kakamega County died on Tuesday morning, shortly before the exams kicked off.
As the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination entered the second day of the high candidature papers, the multi-agency team overseeing the national examinations captured 10 suspects involved in different cases of malpractice. While supervising the exam distribution exercise in Murang'a County on Monday, NEC Chairman David Njengere said the 2 suspects who were attempting to impersonate candidates were arrested in Nairobi and Kilifi counties.
And thanks to the MAT agency team, the 2 culprits were apprehended, one in Nairobi and another one in Kilifi. So we are vigilant across the country. So anyone who is planning to engage in any malpractice, they can rest assured that we are going to move in and apprehend them.
In Homa Bay County, 8 teachers, including the center manager for Palamasogo Secondary School, were apprehended on Monday after they were found photocopying the chemistry paper. Homa Bay County Police Commander Emmanuel Kiplagat said the teachers had taken a paper belonging to a candidate who was scheduled to sit his paper at the hospital and reproduced it contrary to the set NEC regulations.
But the protocol papers, it was done in the school, not by the center manager, but by some POG teachers. It will be a case to be answered by many, and I think that's a scheme or a syndicate.
One candidate from Ebubere Secondary School in Mumias died on Tuesday morning, moments before sitting for the mathematics paper. According to the family, the 19-year-old left home as usual, and the family was informed of his demise shortly after he reported to school ready to sit today's papers.
Ni mshtuko, mshangao mkubwa sana kupata ya kwamba mtoto ameaga kwa hiyo njia ya kikafla. Sisi kupata habari, tunapata habari already mtoto ashapelekwa mock Mumias.
The written papers for KCSE 2024 began on Monday, with the last paper slated for November 22nd, where candidates will sit the physics practical paper. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
Now, the State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action now says that more than 100 cases of femicide, meaning killing of women and girls on account of their gender, have been reported over the last 3 months. A staggering figure revealed during a meeting convened to discuss the crisis. The department revealed this at a time at that meeting attended by lawmakers, representatives of various government and human rights organizations, as they described femicide as a national disaster requiring urgent and decisive action. Several measures were proposed, including the regulation of short-term rental apartments like Airbnb, which have in recent months been implicated in facilitating criminal activity. A special parliamentary committee dedicated to tackling femicide heads-on is also to be set up. Speaking at a separate meeting, President William Ruto's advisor on gender issues, Harriet Chigai, called for concerted efforts to curb the crime.
2022. The office is now to...
It is not enough to do conferences. It is not enough to give statements. What we want now is action taken. We want to see perpetrators brought into books, and we want to see a whole approach to this thing.
This is purely murder. This is criminal cases that are not going to be acceptable in our society.
As we move forward, we urge every member of the society to join us in this critical fight against GBV and femicide.
The government eye is not everywhere. Even as we are saying, this issue of GBV and murders that are going on is actually a big problem in government, something that we need to work on, noting that matters criminal, matters health, femicide is actually a national security issue.
Learning activities remained paralyzed in public universities as lecturers continue to keep off the lecture halls for the second week, with students left to bear the brunt of the industry action. This comes as another attempt by the National Assembly Education Committee to end the strike flopped after the representatives of the Inter-Public Universities Council's Consultative Forum failed to present crucial documents showing the government's 4.3 billion shilling offer to lecturers. Emmanuel Toh reports.
It has been the order of the day for the past 2 weeks now. As public university students, left to their own devices, feel the pinch of the lecturer strike, which has entered its second week. In Kisii University, for instance, lecture halls have remained empty, with students forced to be their own teachers, resorting to group discussions to keep things going.
Sasa sisi kama wanafunzi tumeamua tuwezi subiria malecturer wakuje, tumeamua tuunde ma groups tukuje to discuss, at least wakirudi tukue na kitu.
It is the same script at the University of Kabianga in Kericho County. The gates here are closed and under tight security from police officers who have taken over to avert any security concerns from the striking dons.
Lakini tungependa kwamba serikali ikaconsider wale malecturer ambao walikuwa wametaka 9.7 billion ili waweze kurudi darasani.
The situation is similar in the neighboring Bomet University. Students here, just like the rest of the comrades in other public universities, forced to resort to group discussions, while others chose to wait for their lecturers to pick up from where they left.
We are just idle, and you know an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So we want them, at least the government should listen to their cry. Solidarity forever.
It is this grim reality that forced the Lecturers' Union, the university's academic staff union, to engage its employer, the Interpublic Universities Council's Consultative Forum IPUCCF, in trying to unlock the impasse, with Dons telling the National Assembly Committee on Education that the 4.3 billion shillings offer by the IPUCCF was too little and a short end of the stick of the deal signed slightly over a month ago.
As advised by the government, the three unions accept the Kenya shillings 4.3 billion as the funds available.
Now they are telling us what the government has offered is 4.3. Let us try to fit it. I want to say whether you fit it like what? It cannot conform to the terms and provisions of the return to work formula.
But even before the committee could negotiate for a middle ground, a spanner was thrown in the works. As it emerged, IPUCCF did not have documents proving the 4.3 billion shillings offer.
He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Chair, the 4.3 billion forms the backbone of this engagement. Chair, they have not provided any documents.
And when this ministry official was committing, was it minuted? Were the minutes signed?
I can undertake to go and ask for that letter and come back to report, because up to where we are, there has never been any written document of 4.3 billion.
Every other time when you are signing a document, they always say the devil is in the detail. Make sure that you scrutinize your document, because right now we are back, yet this thing was over.
The meeting ending even before it started, with the IPUCCF directed to table documents by Tuesday next week. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
12 suspects linked to a fake gold scam syndicate have been arrested in a crackdown by detectives from the Operations Support Unit in Nairobi's Runda Estate. During the operation, investigators seized key evidence including counterfeit gold, spray paint and padlocks used to create the fake gold. The arrests followed a scam in which 2 foreign nationals were duped into purchasing 35 kilograms of fake gold, losing over 5 million shillings in the process. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui reports some of the suspects are known repeat offenders who face multiple fraud charges in court and are expected to face additional charges related to this latest scam on Wednesday.
All that glitters is not gold, and what you are looking at here is pure deception. 2 foreigners were swindled into purchasing the fake gold, losing over 5.2 million Kenya shillings in the process. The foreigners, who were lured to Kenya on September 4th, 2024 by the scammers, were convinced to purchase 35 kilograms of gold through 3 separate transactions. However, after making the payments, they were taken on a wild goose chase, and the gold was never delivered. Detectives, acting swiftly after complaints were made, raided the high-end Runda estate in Nairobi and arrested 12 individuals linked to the fake gold syndicate. So how did these Dubai-based gold traders, clearly familiar with the business, fall into the hands of these fraudsters? The answer lies in the very offices raided by the detectives. The office of the syndicate's director is extravagantly decorated with what appear to be gold-adorned walls, a beverage jar that looks golden, and even flags, one Kenyan and the other of the East African community, adding some sense of legitimacy to the scam. Among the exhibits recovered is a Subaru vehicle, complete with a siren, which is reportedly being used to escort unsuspecting clients from the airport, only for them to later become victims of the scam. Also seized were crucial tools like spray paint and padlocks used to create the fake gold. The suspects, all non-repeat offenders with ongoing fraud cases in court, are said to have powerful connections within government cycles, which have reportedly shielded them from past actions. They will be arraigned in court on Wednesday to face charges of fraud. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
And now to the U.S. election. Voting is still underway in the United States as millions of Americans cast their ballots to elect their next president. The contest for the American presidency between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump is the closest ever, according to opinion polls, with the vote outcome of 7 key battleground states expected to produce the winner.
Hey guys, good morning.
Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance cast his vote in Cincinnati, Ohio, on Tuesday morning.
Look, I feel good. You never know until you know, but I feel good about this race. I felt good about my own race a couple of years ago when I voted in this exact same spot.
Joining millions of Americans who were headed to the polls to choose the next president between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump. Polling stations opened across the U.S. from 5 a.m. in some states, but the first major wave of openings happened at 6 p.m. in New Jersey, New York, and Virginia.
It's very easy to do.
Poll closing will begin in some states at 7 p.m. local time, with Alaska remaining open the longest until 1 a.m. Over 83 million people already cast early ballots in this year's election by mail or in-person voting. Trump and Harris held a late campaign in swing states likely to decide the race, which is expected to come down to 7 key battle states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Either candidate needs to secure 270 Electoral College votes to claim victory. Electors are allocated to states based on their population, and most states give all of their electors to whichever candidate wins the state in the general vote. All 435 seats in the House of Representatives are up for election, as well as 34 seats in the Senate. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Indeed, a very interesting race to watch as Donald Trump, former president, seeks to return to the White House, and as Vice President Kamala Harris seeks to retain the White House, but this time as the president. Stay tuned. You're coming back with more stories on Citizen Explainer. Watch.
Mom was my mother, and it's not easy.
Coming up, botched surgery victim Lucy Wamboi buried.
As a parent, you want your little one to experience all that life offers. To touch the world with an open heart and curious mind. But the world, for all its beauty, holds unseen dangers. Germs, bacteria, tiny threats, waiting on every surface.
Dettrex protects you and your family from disease-causing germs.
That's why I choose Dettrex.
Allowing the freedom to be yourself all day long.
Dettrex, endorsed by Kenya Progressive Nurse Association. Bidhaa bora kutoka Pwani Oil Limited. Dettrex Aloe Vera.
These days, you have to shop smart as everything is so expensive. I shop smart. I always get a good bargain when I buy my mbogas from Mama Chege. I shop smart. I buy the 1 kg of Msafi, which costs the same as 500 grams of a popular detergent. I shop smart. Msafi removes tough stains and keeps clothes bright. And its pleasant fragrance keeps clothes smelling fresh. Chagua smart, value maradufu, na Msafi.
View Travel's Thai Adventure.
Relax on Pattaya's beaches, explore Bangkok's vibrant city, and adventure in Thailand. Encounter wildlife at Safari World, experience magic at Dream World, and speedboat to Coral Island. Experience all this and more in a 7-day trip starting from $1,180 USD per person sharing. Angukia deals moto na View Travel. Book now and lipa pole pole. Visit viewtravel.com or call and WhatsApp 0703-254-254. View Travel. Dream, explore, discover.
Maji ni kitu muhimu sana kwa ufugaji wowote, na sio maji tu, ni maji safi.
Kuja nisaidia na nitalipa yako.
Ni usiku Val. Switisha tu taxi.
Akisiwezi.
Dajukiz, mama yako alikufundisha kupika. Na mimi nikakufundisha kuendesha gari. Gari hili ni lako.
Soko, more than a meal.
Great yummy taste, gotta hack it. I spread bread, but nguvu gotta pack it. Napaka nywele design ya mogoro. Blue Band, Juni natural cocoa. 5 vitamins, una grow plus ni tam na ni Tuna hack snack na ki Blue Band choco for your growth.
You know you're flying with the world's best. Crowned by Skytrax, 15 years in a row. Yep, we've taken over 500 million of you to places. Our crew, they train like champions. Global safety standards, we nailed them. 23 years and counting, all thanks to our dedicated all-stars and you.
I'll have the usual on the rocks, double.
Your profile says you don't drink.
How? And I miss out on the silky refreshing test?
For real? For real. Well, in that case, I'll have whatever he's having.
I drink responsibly. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Del.
Del who?
Del Monte.
Real recognize real. No added sugar, no preservatives. 100% real fruit. When they seek to define us, we resist. We are great at any time of night or day. Great alone or with company. Everyone is fueling their greatness. Have you had yours? What's your excuse?
This November, My Dawa introduces the Pink Friday campaign. This campaign is aimed at treating our customers with exclusive offers on a large variety of products on My Dawa. But this is where it gets interesting. For every purchase made during this campaign, 10% of that will go directly to Faraja Cancer Support to support cancer patients in Kenya. Well, that's the plan. Not just offers, but cancer isalimiwe.
When your kids learn to be independent, you're giving them a great start. Prestige Margarine. It all starts with a great start. Now comes in the original and vanilla flavor.
The secret is Mauricio isn't Jose Emilio's father.
Best wishes to the 2024 candidates. Nyinyi ni mabingwa.
These days, you have to shop smart as everything is so expensive. I shop smart. I always get a good bargain when I buy my mbogas from Mama Chege. I shop smart. I buy the 1 kg of Msafi, which costs the same as 500 grams of a popular detergent. I shop smart. Msafi removes tough stains and keeps clothes bright. And Its pleasant fragrance keeps clothes smelling fresh. Chaguo smart, value maradufu na msafi.
Welcome back. A somber mood or ceremony. The body of Lucy Wamboi Ng'ang'a, a woman whose life was tragically cut short in a botched plastic surgery, was laid to rest today at her home in Red Hill, Kiambu County. Family members and political leaders expressed their outrage and pledged to fight for justice for Lucy's family as the Body by Design company accused of being behind the death rushed to file a petition against closure of the premises by Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. Ode Francis was present at the funeral and brings us this report.
The body of Lucy Wamboi Ng'ang'a arrived at her home in Denderu, Red Hill, Kiambu County, amidst an atmosphere of deep sorrow and mourning.
Mom was my mother, and it's not easy.
My condolences to my mother, and I just pray for that she's in an amazing place. She sees, I just pray for her. I just wish the best for her.
Her family left grappling with unanswered questions about how their beloved kin ended up in the hands of operators whose negligence led to her untimely death. Lucy's 4 children and their father, overwhelmed by grief, were unable to speak. Close friends stepped in to share heartfelt memories of Lucy, painting a picture of her generous spirit.
With so many questions and no answers.
Lucy was remembered fondly for her kindness and generosity. Friends, including former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, condemning the negligence that led to her tragic demise.
We want to call on our authorities of regulation of medical facilities to protect the people of Kenya. Again, let me call upon our people to always be careful where you seek help when you need help in matters medical.
According to the family, Lucy passed away last Thursday after seeking beauty services from a facility named Body by Design, which was registered as a spa but allegedly operated as a health clinic. It has since been shut down by the government. Family is now calling on other victims who have suffered at the hands of Body by Design or Omnicare Medical Limited to come forward. They hope to gather enough evidence to ensure justice for all families affected by this company's actions.
What we are going through is very unfortunate, and I want to call out anybody who has gone through a similar situation or is going through it. Please come and step forward. We will not give any legal fees. Look for us. We will make sure these people serve and get what they deserve.
Body by Design attempted to prevent its closure by filing a court petition. Their request was denied.
The 47-year earthly journey for Lucy Wamboi Ng'ang'a ends with her burial today, with the family now trailing its eyes on the search for justice for their loved one whose journey ended with a plastic surgery that is not regulated in the country. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Red Hill, Kiambu County.
May she rest in peace. The High Court in Eldoret has sentenced 2 suspects to serve 35 years in jail each for the murder of 3,000-meter steeplechase athlete Benjamin Kiplagat. In his judgment, Justice Ruben Nyakundi said the suspects Peter Ushuru, aged 30, and 25-year-old motorbike rider David Akai planned and committed the offense with a clear intention to take the life of the deceased, and that all evidence proved that the two carried out the heinous act of killing the athlete in cold blood on the night of December 31st, 2023. The prosecution presented 9 witnesses who testified against the accused persons, and family of the deceased had demanded that the convicts be sentenced to death or life imprisonment.
I pass a sentence of 35 years custodial sentence in this matter. And you have 14 days right of appeal, Peter and David, to approach the Court of Appeal to make a determination of this matter. You aggrieved in terms of the main judgment, and also aggrieved on the sentence.
Now, the education sector is staring at a looming crisis if over 16,000 classrooms pledged by the government is not completed by January 2025 to allow for grade 9 transition. The Kenyan Primary School Heads Association says the government need to work around the clock and deliver the classrooms in a record less than 60 days to avoid burdening the already congested primary public schools.
With just less than 2 months before the 2025 academic year begins, uncertainty looms over the rollout of the last class of junior secondary school education grade 9.
From the National Treasurer, a word of thanks to Fadhali.
The Kenya Primary School Heads Association says the competency-based curriculum is staring at a possible crisis in transiting grade 9 if over 16,000 classrooms are not completed by January.
Kule mashinani hatujakuwa na darasa ambayo imeanzishwa kuchengwa. Kwa hivyo unashindwa hii darasa itachengwa kwa muda wa haya miezi mingapi ili iweze kuandaliwa tunapojiunga na grade ya 9 mwaka ujao.
In some areas, the grade 8s are already congested. They have big numbers in one room. So we wouldn't like to have the same big numbers in grade 9.
The head teachers who are the drivers of the CBC transition under the junior secondary school say the government need to work around the clock and deliver the infrastructure ahead of the 2025 education calendar. The government on their part says plans are underway to bridge the gap without giving timelines, with the head of public service Felix Koskei telling head teachers that a classroom should not exceed 1 million shillings and they must account for each penny.
Classrooms does not cost too much. It may be $1 million, it may be slightly higher, but as we see the average cost of a classroom as we speak still is $1 million.
The budget which is set aside for construction of classrooms should be reviewed upward because we believe and because we have been on the ground. The 1 million which is being set aside for a classroom is very strenuous to achieve.
We are making critical progress in ensuring that the more than 16,000 classrooms that we require for our children to transition to grade 9 are being done and done with a lot of efficiency. We have been visiting a number of our schools. I visited quite a number of schools yesterday, both here in Mombasa and Kilifi. And one of the schools which we are building 6 classrooms, the classrooms are ready for usage in January.
The head teachers are also demanding for salary increment, saying increased responsibility under the JSS should be matched with better remuneration.
Walimu wapewe mafunzo hasa ya kidijitali, pia tupewe pesa zinazoweza hata kusimamia mafunzo haya.
The textbooks are not in schools. Whatever we have is peanuts. And the data collected is not what we are getting back in schools.
The education sector is staring at a possible crisis come January 2025 if the government doesn't hasten plans to address a number of concerns raised by primary school head teachers. Francis Mtulaki, Citizen TV, Mombasa.
Now, a family in Gilgil, Nakuru County is seeking justice after their 62-year-old kin was hacked to death over alleged land dispute. An autopsy conducted on the body of 62-year-old Joseph Kasarari revealed that he was chopped using a machete. Police in Gilgil have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the murder. Miriam Nyambura reports.
62-year-old Joseph Kasarari, a father of 10, was found dead on his parcel of land in Gilgil, Nakuru on October 31st. In what the family blames on a land dispute, 6 days since his body was discovered dumped in his 3-acre parcel of land, the family is still in disbelief.
Aliweza kuitwa na jirani kumuita akamweleza kwamba kuna kitu ambaye tunataka kuongea kidogo. Kumbe yule jirani alikuwa armed. Ndipo walimvamia na kuanza kumkata immediately, kumshambulia kinyama sana, kifo ambacho sisi ile tustua.
An autopsy conducted on the body of Kasarari at the Annex Funeral Home in Nakuru on Tuesday revealed that he was hacked more than 10 times by his killers.
The cause of death here is actually partial decapitation of the head because it has involved the spinal cord and also injury to the blood vessels. Majeraha ya sharp object kama machete iko kwa kichwa.
A ruling by a Nakuru court was set to be delivered on 9th December over the ownership of the contentious parcel of land.
Hawa watu venye wanatembea wanazidi kutudhiriten. Aliyepotea, aliyeuawa, ameuawa kinyama sana. Ukiangalia picha zenyewe si ile ambayo unaua binadamu. Hata mnyama huwezi ua hivyo. It's so sad. So sad.
Gilgil Sub-County Police Commander Winston Mwakio says 2 suspects have been apprehended. Police are also in pursuit of 3 other suspects. Miriam Nyambura, Citizen TV.
Now, the baby Samantha Pendo case, which was set for plea taking today, failed to yet again take off and was postponed to the 15th of January 2025 by Justice Lilian Nabwire Mutende after 2 suspects failed to show up in court. Lady Justice Nabwire also issued summons to have the Police Inspector General appear to explain the whereabouts of one of the accused persons, Mohammed Ba, who was said to have skipped court session since 2022, despite having a warrant of arrest out against him. Ba and another accused person, Lena Kosgei, were missing during Tuesday's court session, with Kosgei said to have developed sudden medical complications. Attempts by the victim's advocates to have the case continue and the suspects take plea were not successful. The delay is the latest in a series of events that have seen the prosecution of the suspects, where senior police officers failed to face the case against them. Baby Pendo died in 2017 and after an inquest that started in 2019 and the approval of charges against 12 senior police officers, the family still awaits justice 7 years later. The case has experienced several delays and is yet to take off. Treasury officials defend revival of rejected finance bill provisions as government eyes additional 170 billion shillings.
As a parent, you want your little one to experience all that life offers. To touch the world with an open heart and curious mind. But the world, for all its beauty, holds unseen dangers. Germs, bacteria, tiny threats, waiting on every surface.
Dettrex protects you and your family from disease-causing germs.
That's why I choose Dettrex.
Allow you the freedom to be yourself all day long.
Dettrex, endorsed by Kenya Progressive Nurse Association. Bidhaa bora kutoka Pwani Oil Limited.
Enjoy all-in-one solutions for your business with Network. Accept multiple payment methods and process all your business transactions on one device, whether it is M-Pesa, Airtel Money, Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. Network does it all. It is faster, it is better, it is smarter. Get it for your business today by calling 0730 847 847.
What's wrong with you, Aunt Monica? Threatening her this way?
Can't you guess it yourself, nephew?
The way I'm seeing it, you cannot handle this matter alone.
What do you suggest I do?
Enjoy the convenience of automating your regular payments with M-Pesa Ratiba, the easy-to-use mobile standing order service from M-Pesa. Download the M-Pesa app or dial *334#.
Oreo na Coca-Cola wamekuwa mabesti sana. Je, umejaribu the new Oreo Coca-Cola Limited Edition biscuits? Ni noma sana. Manze usiachwe nyuma.
Wash your clothes with Toss Lavender to leave your clothes with a lasting, irresistible freshness.
Another goodie bag, another day, another winner. Umehakikisha kwanza ni 50,000? Umefikiria plan ya vile utafanyia do ama bado?
Nenda nijipange.
Uende ujipange vipoa. Shikilia ka goodie bag hapa, itakusaidia kufikiria mipango. That is your check of 50,000 shillings courtesy of Jipange Ushinde na View sasa.
People come to me and they say they get discomfort when they have ice cream. Can you imagine that? Avoiding having cold ice cream. Sensodyne gives you long-lasting protections against sensitivity. And people come in and they're like, oh, it works. I can have ice cream and I'm not in any discomfort. I recommend Sensodyne because it works. It's brilliant.
Royal Mabati Factory, your one-stop shop for affordable and quality guaranteed roofing solutions. Grab our stone-coated tile offers at only 603 shillings plus VAT. Pay 40%, get same-day production and enjoy free delivery. Call us on 0722 638383.
Whether you're shopping in-store or relaxing at home, Carrefour Kenya makes it all easier. Introducing the Carrefour app, your all-in-one shopping solution. Whether you're at home or on the move, explore a wide range of products, discover exclusive deals, earn loyalty points, and choose the delivery option that works for you.
Member now and start your journey to financial success. Muhasibu DT Sacco, the Sacco for professionals.
Citizen Duka, the home of discount.
Citizen Duka, the home of discounts, inakuletea this week's Mama Safi package from Quickmart. For only 906 shillings, utapata 1 kg powder detergent at 329 bob, 800 grams bar soap at 149 bob, 4-pack white tissue paper at 189 bob, 140 grams toothpaste at 199 bob. Hizi zote ni less than 1,000 shillings, meaning utasave 219 shillings ukitumia Citizen Duka. Piga *487*5#. Choose Quickmart, then select Mama Safi. Lipa na ukishalipa utapata message ya kwenda kuchukua package yako kwa Citizen Duka counter ya any Quickmart supermarket karibu na wewe.
Citizen Duka, the home of discount.
At Kidani Mabati, we provide strong and durable roofing solutions for homes and businesses. With our gauge 28 and 30 Mabati, available in various colors and finishes, you can choose the perfect style to suit your needs. Plus, we offer free delivery countrywide, ensuring your materials arrive safely and on time. Kidani Mabati is strong, reliable, and made to last. Call us toll-free today or visit our website to find out more. Kidani Mabati, boresha mjengo, boresha maisha.
The secret is Mauricio isn't Jose Emilio's father.
Best wishes to the 2024 candidates. Nyinyi ni mabingwa.
Welcome back. In business, officials from the National Treasury have defended the government's decision to reintroduce parts of the rejected 2024 finance bill, claiming it is essential to reduce borrowing. Speaking to Citizen TV, Albert Mwenda, the Director General of Budget, Fiscal and Economic Affairs at the Treasury, noted that the government aims to raise 170 billion shillings from these reintroduced measures. Jimmy Mbogo reports.
To sustain government operation, the National Treasury is proposing reintroduction of elements of the 2024 Finance Bill to generate between 0.9% and 1% of GDP in revenue, or roughly 170 billion shillings. Mwenda explained that while this amount won't fully cover the revenue loss when the Finance Bill was shelved, it will help reduce the fiscal deficit.
That's around 170 billion, give or take. We are not even bringing back. Remember what was lost was estimated at 1.9, 2% of GDP. So it's not everything that we are not going to recoup everything that we lost in the finance bill. And what the intention of this is also to ensure that we don't lose on the good proposals that Kenyans had proposed to Treasury.
To further strengthen the fiscal position, the National Treasury is exploring alternatives such as shifting from Eurobond reliance to domestic capital market, leveraging on corporate bonds, debt swaps and public-private partnerships.
Because if we continue borrowing, especially from the domestic markets, then it means interest rates will remain high. Businesses will not be able to borrow, will crowd out private businesses. So the choice for me is very clear.
Mwenda was speaking at the FSD Sustainable Capital Market Conference, where the British High Commission announced a $5.2 million fund, an equivalent of 667 million shillings, to support SMEs in Kenya. Sector players also urged the government to enhance the capital market to address the funding gaps.
This question of sustainable capital market development and the need for more innovative financial markets, that need has never been greater than it is today, actually, because fundamentally we know that business as usual is absolutely not working, and so we need to change it. That's just.
So this is an important moment for us. We think that this fund, which could be listed to provide liquidity for investors and help develop Kenya's capital markets, but we want to use an innovative blended structure, and we hope that that will mobilize 13 billion shillings of finance from development finance institutions.
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The African Venture Philanthropy Alliance, in collaboration with the Children's Investment Fund Foundation and Prosper Africa, have launched the Catalytic Pooled Fund in Nairobi. The fund aims to mobilize $200 million over the next 5 years to drive significant private sector investment in social development and impact initiatives across Africa. The launch, aligned with the conference theme, Catalyzing Africa's Sustainable Growth, underscores the Alliance's dedication to advancing Africa's social finance ecosystem.
And then hopefully cultural, being francophone and lusophone African.
A lot of what these initiatives lack is that capital, for example, to do the early stage proof of concept, where we're trying to test new markets, new products, new services, and they're too risky for more commercial capital. So what this fund will do, it will provide that risk capital that will be able to support some of these early stage opportunities to a point where they can then attract more commercial capital for scale.
Every organization is thinking about how do we green our countries and our organizations. So of course we're looking at climate because we all need to be more resilient to the climate shocks that we're going through. We're also thinking about, educating girls. Health systems are very, very important. All of these are major areas that will bring prosperity and growth to Africa.
The Kenya electricity generating company KenGen is seeking to raise $4.3 billion from local and international investors over the next decade to boost electricity output and expand renewable energy operations. Speaking at an investor briefing session, KenGen's Managing Director, Peter Jenga, outlined the company's funding strategy, which includes concessional loans, reinvested profits, and joint ventures. The capital will mainly support growth in KenGen's geothermal, wind, and solar energy projects.
Members of the press, our long-term strategy includes exploring new opportunities in green hydrogen, carbon credit trading, and regional interconnectivity projects which offer new growth avenues for our shareholders. Investing in KenGen is more than just an investment in Kenya's power sector. It is a stake in the country's commitment to environmental stewardship, sustainable development, and economic resilience.
And finally, a look at the rest of the stories that made headlines in the business scene with Raf Wangutusi.
CPF Financial Services, in partnership with Standard Investment Bank, has launched a new retirement savings scheme called the Taifa Pension Fund. This fund aims to support employers in providing pension benefits by pooling contributions from multiple employers, helping Kenyan workers without an existing pension plan.
Whereas it's a good idea to have very many pension schemes, because it's a freedom of choice, we feel that economies of scale and also members' benefits can only be derived from a consolidated arrangement.
Meanwhile, CIC Insurance Group has published its first sustainability report outlining its commitment to sustainable products and services. The group aims to increase microinsurance policies to 25% of its portfolio by 2030, achieve gender balance across its workforce by 2030, and boost its investment in social programs.
As part of our environmental stewardship, CIC Insurance Group is taking deliberate steps to minimize its carbon footprint and promote sustainable practices.
And finally, Biofood Products has released its third sustainability report, enforcing its commitment to global quality and sustainability standards. The report highlights a 6.4% reduction in carbon emissions, a 20% increase in production, and a shift to 100% recyclable PET bottles. Raf Wangutusi, Citizen TV.